what was your first impressions? And I'm thinking like, all right, well, the dude came out of a box and they played some music and he had some dancers. One of which was his wife, actually.
Really?
Um, yeah, his wife was a burlesque
Wifehausen?
dancer. Yeah,
Wifehausen?
Wifehausen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start calling Christy Wifehausen, and then I will curse her
That's awesome.
every day.
In a world, two retired vets decided phone conversations about WWE storylines would make for a good podcast. Only one podcast dares to predict the future, where every move, every feud, every moment is overanalyzed. Grab your number 2 pencils. Get ready to step into the squared circle. This is your front row seat to the storylines as you wish they were written. Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, 4-time Drum Corps Associates World Champion Sean Green, and the keeper of the coveted 10mm socket of excellence, and 2-time small hometown local youth hockey organization champion, Matt Jackson.
Welcome to another edition of the If We Had the Pencil podcast. I'm your host, still stuck in Colorado, Sean Green. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy outside chilling in 70-degree weather, Matt freaking Jackson. Matt, how the hell are you?
Man, how are you? I just realized my shirt's almost the same color as the couch out here.
It's the army in you. You just go camouflage, just like...
No, I just picture those videos where people are like wearing dresses that match the green screen, and yeah, I blend in. Yeah,
We're gonna do we should have put you on a green screen. Then Danhausen could have cursed you because that's a thing. Like, oh my god, I love that dude so much. Like, I've never been so happy. I don't know if he can wrestle, but damn it, he is entertaining as shit.
I'm waiting for it to become a thing where people in public just like like they go to Starbucks and they want a coffee housing, or and people get randomly cursed.
Welcome to the podcast housing.
Yeah.
Doing the podcast housing.
Can you tell me where Such and Touch is? Oh, I'm sorry, we're all sold out. You are cursed.
Cursed? What? My flight's delayed. You are cursed. Oh my god.
I want first class in the plane housing, So
actually, it's funny because like one of the big things that I've been, I'm trapped, so I got nothing better to do than like pull clips off of social media, which there's some gems going on this week. Like,
did you see the one where we got CM Punk to spend like $40,000 on comic books?
No, I did see one though where it might have been from the AEW days, but like he had Punk shelling out money to him because
I saw that.
The Punk's finisher, the go to sleep, Danhausen's like, no, that's my move. I made it first. You owe me royalties. Like, Punk's like shelling out money.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's all hundreds at the end too.
Oh my god, it's so good. He does so much good stuff. And like people are like, I'd like a John Cena shirt. He's like, got it, Danhausen shirt. Like, I was like, this is great. I don't even give a shit if he wrestles or if he can wrestle. I was just like, I'm all about it, man.
He
like,
says he wants the human monies. If they give him the human monies, he'll wrestle. But well, yeah, I like him. He's funny because he's not R-Truth. And like you and I were kind of jabbering on the phone after Raw last night, and it's like I don't want Danhausen and R-Truth to be a pairing, but like I'm waiting for the day where like he's on SmackDown, because right now R-Truth's doing his thing with Damian Priest. We'll talk about, and I know we're kind of jumping all over, but Danhausen's kind of the hot topic. So I just think it'd be funny if he's like Danhausen's just walking backstage and he bumps into R-Truth, and like R-Truth like marks out thinking it's Sting.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's for sure coming. But man,
I really want to see Danhausen with the Miz. I just think it'll be comedic gold.
I think we're gonna get that.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
Unfortunately, folks, my notes are hastily put together because Matt will tell you, I literally ran into the door, slammed my food, and was like, all right, I'm getting all the podcast stuff up. So, like, yeah.
Well, plus you worked
little lackluster
all weekend, long days, so. Yeah.
Now that's why they pay me the the itty bitty housing bucks. So
yeah, they're going to give you a 4-day when you get back. Hey, I came back from the field. Can I get a 4-day?
Can I get some vacation housing?
There you go.
Oh my God, this is never going to go away.
Just to stay at the housing.
Yeah, oh my God. And like, I love it. But it wasn't just him on social media. I mean, we had stuff like Becky Lynch gets the flu or something to that effect, and she blames Jessica Carr on social media. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever.
It's saying something about how she's not a real licensed referee, and it made her so physically ill because she parodies Trump because she talks about herself, repeats things. She talked about how like her doctor says she's like the healthiest and like she's the best physically fit, and I'm the best patient. And, like,
I know.
Now she's got the flu because of Jessica Carr.
Well, it's even better than that because Jessica Carr, there's a Danhausen tie-in here. So I think Becky Lynch wanted Danhausen to put a curse on Jessica Carr. Jessica Carr said, well, you really don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So it was just, I don't know, like WWE social media has been like a lot of fun. And because it's like the NFL league year starts tomorrow, I've obviously been scrolling like, who did we sign? By the way, nice signing with Dobbs for the Patriots. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yep. So
I like that pick. I still hope we're in the A.J. Brown picture. We also
reports are y'all are, but I've had to go back to muting Patriots fans in my things. So because your fan base is delusional.
They are not as bad as Seahawks fans. I will say it to my grave.
Seahawks fans are the biggest batch of bandwagoners I have ever seen in my life. Like when we lived out there, and they'd be like, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, you're a Seahawks fan," and they're like, "Well, I grew up a Bears fan, but then I moved here." I was like, "How do you just dump your loyalty?" Like,
Meanwhile, his house is painted in Seahawks colors with the number 12 on his garage door.
Yeah, like, well, what's funny is that like there was a time where it wasn't set in stone that the Bills were going to stay in Buffalo, and it got really sketchy. So like, I was joking quite a bit that I was like, all right, I'm taking applications. Who wants me to be part of their fan base? Because I couldn't root for my team if they weren't there. But it would break my heart too much.
You were talking about the WWE social media. It's whoever's taken it over has done a good job because for the longest time, it was just highlights and like stuff aimed at like preteens. It was like now it's like they're getting these little shorts and like stuff you don't see on the TV, and it's off-site, and they've really stepped that part up. And it's actually, some of it is actually added to storylines and this and that. Even if it's not a video, people tweeting stuff, putting stuff on social media, it's really picked up, especially probably the last 18 to 24 months. But they're on a good roll with it right now because it'll pop up on my Facebook, and I used to skim by it because it's like, oh, it'll just be something silly. And now it's like something entertaining for the most part, and like, oh, that's kind of cool, or something I didn't know.
Yep,
it's going to get to the
good
pot
stuff.
That if you don't follow social media, you might miss key elements of stories.
It is true because like Danhausen actually came out to the ring, tossed some shirts out, and you had to catch that on social media. Like it wasn't on TV last night. So whatever. Enough about Danhausen. We'll get back to Danhausen later because Danhausen is everywhere. But so we kick off Raw. Your Elimination Chamber winner, Randy Orton, comes out and, basically gives us the, hey man, I'm going to give 15. And Trick Williams comes out, talks shit, and gets an RKO for his, problems. And good segment.
Yeah, no, it was good. I liked that. He was getting definitely some love from the Portland crowd, and especially we started. I think from what I got, this is his 21st WrestleMania.
I believe that's what he said. Yes,
in his third main event. So I think it's kind of cool. Like he's talking about like what he's done, but not in a bragging way. Like it comes across as authentic. Because now, like the fans are on the ride with him too.
Well, here's my resume. You know what I mean? Like This ain't no, minor thing. This is my resume. So then we get a little bit of AAA crossover, Matt. Carmelo Hayes defeated Dr. Wagner Jr. And I'm about to say something that kind of got stuff sparked in the talkers chat, text chat there, and not a big Dr. Wagner fan. Of all the guys that I've seen from AAA, and we've watched a couple of shows, he does not excite me very much. He's decent. I'm not saying he's bad.
He's a bigger luchador. Like for a luchador, he's a big guy. Like stocky. So he's not like the flippity floppity. He does like the high impacts and the dives, but you're not going to see like Rey Mysterio or the really crazy stuff that some of these guys do. I kind of liked it because he kind of works like a hybrid style. He mixes some of that American stuff. And again, if you hold the U.S. title, you're not allowed to have a bad match. So I gave this match a B, which is for a U.S. title match is one of the lower grades I think I've given a U.S. title match in a long time. And the match was still a B. So
yeah, well, I think it's important when we talk about SmackDown and kind of Raw too this week. There's a lot less wrestling right now and a lot of setup going on. Yes. A lot of storytelling. So like, as in the Irresistible Forces come out, which they have theme music. So that means those two are going to be kind of stuck at the hip for a little while. And Nia Jax and Lash Legend. But, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss come out, talk crap. Julia and Kiana James come in and throw their hat in the ring. And it's like, okay, cool. And that sets up a match between Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Julia, and Kiana James. So,
which is really good.
It was.
Julia and James, they really show that they belong on that main roster.
They have had a great run for 6 weeks, like about 6 weeks now, where it's been like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like,
time, yep.
You and I kind of were like, all right, we see the talent, but we don't kind of get it. Now we're kind of getting in the groove, especially with James, right? We didn't see much out of James, and I think her initial introduction kind of gave her off as like she's cannon fodder, and now that she's kind of hitting her stroke wrestling, she's an impressive wrestler. So shout out to her. But Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss win that match.
Which is fine. That's how it should go because I really think Alexa and Charlotte, they go for the tag titles at WrestleMania.
So I think WWE has figured something out. We have a long show. We have a lot of time to kill. So what do? Tag team turmoil match. And it was a fun one. So we'll go, I'll go step by step. You give me your thoughts. So Fraxium and Motor City Machine Guns. Any thoughts, comments, concerns?
No, I thought it was solid. They weren't. If this was just a straight match with nothing to follow after, I think you would have seen a lot more high pace. But
I think so.
But it was good. Actually, I liked both turmoil matches this week. So I'm kind of a fan of those.
Well, it's nice. It kills time. It goes multiple segments, and it doesn't suck, and it changes up.
And you get a lot of talent on the screen. So yeah, I like these.
Well,
yes, I was fine with it. I was fine with Fraxium going over, especially with the questionable pin, because he did break up the pin. He actually put his partner's leg on the rope, so that's on the ref or the booking committee or creative.
Whomever. But, I mean, the only thing I will say, though, like, Motor City Machine Guns was really freaking hot, and they kind of toned them down. Fraxium, too, though. But Fraxium's been tied in with the Gargano story. So it was like they are at least doing something. Because another team we haven't seen.
They're teasing some tension, I think, with the Motor City Machine Guns. Because we saw it backstage after. There was a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah. So another team we haven't seen much of lately, and they've been pretty solid. They were pretty solid too, is Los Garza, and them defeating Fraxium, and it's just like, okay, it was cool. I mean, it was fine. It was fun. I didn't have a lot to say about it. It was just kind of what I expected out of both teams.
Yeah, there was no standout moments, but there was no missteps either. It was just solid work.
Well, given WWE's injury run as of late, I do think there's a little bit of bubble wrap going on with some of the talent.
Yeah,
Not all of it, but some of it.
it's like let's get him to WrestleMania and then let him go willy-nilly, and then we'll deal with the fallout after the big weekend.
Then we get the match that really wasn't a match, which was Los Garza defeating the Wyatt Six after the MFTs came out. So obviously the MFT stuff is still going on. Cool.
And there's no.
Nope. No DQ. I don't believe so. And then we get the newly formed team, the unbelievable team. Ron Cena makes an appearance. And we get Damian Priest and R-Truth, a.k.a. Ron Cena. And they defeat Los Garza. But, that was a lot of fun. Even the setup to it was like, Nick, did you tell him? Backstage, it is and Damian Priest is like, all right, sure, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Say no?
That's what I like about Priest. His character, he's a go with the flow, but don't piss him off type of guy, and that's what I like about Priest. So I think this is a fun team.
I think it's smart. Those two have had chemistry even back when Priest was still in Judgment Day. R-Truth was eating shrimp on their couch and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was constantly breaking Priest, making Priest break character by doing something silly.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope they play a little bit of that, I'm not saying with merch, but when they're doing their little talks backstage, R-Truth could kind of call back to that time a little bit. We've done this before, we know what we're doing. We're
still part of the Judgment Day.
Yeah. So last week I was kind of saying I was getting tired of Ilya Dragunov with I'm in a slump and this and that, and I'm like, oh, now it's kind of I get it that he's a man of principle, but it's you take a shot at a title. We finally got the why on SmackDown when he was talking about his mother. And I'm like, okay, that totally makes sense. Now I get it. You could have done that 3 weeks ago. But I think it's good that they got it out. When he gave that heartfelt promo about his mom. And I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I know why it's so important that you earn your spot and that you just don't let stuff be given to you that you don't deserve. So I was like, finally.
Matt, you know who else earned their stop? Rhea Bloody Ripley by winning the Elimination Chamber, and she came out and had some words with Jade Cargill. And the biggest takeaway I had, look, you and I were talking off to the side last night about this. There's a lot of Rhea detractors out there. You cannot deny her star power.
No.
She is in the upper echelon of the women's division by far, because you watch some of the younger women cutting promos, even champions, and you're kind of like, dudes too. So I'd put Rhea Ripley in the top 5 of the whole company. She is really effing good, and it's night and day.
She kind of gave a promo show to lesson to Jade. For sure, because whatever Jay tried to give her, Rhea doubled back what she gave. Oh, and Sean's camera is possessed or taking an update.
It just said, I'm going to do what I want. I do what I want. And I don't know why. Whatever, I do what I want.
Oh, nice.
My goodness gracious. It is trying to run away. Well, folks, there's my hotel room. It did a snapshot and it was I'm out.
I think you get monitored by Big Gov, bro. Hey, real quick, because we got other stuff, but Sammy and Cody had a backstage segment where Sammy was getting fired up, and we've talked about this in weeks past, and I'm like, all right, we're going to get a little bit more. And then he kind of did the same 180, except it took him a little longer. But there was more confliction with it. And then after we had the tag team turmoil, Sammy met with Randy. Like, Randy kind of gave Sammy some advice about, being selfish and kind of, you got to look out for number one. So
I I have no doubt that Sammy is on the cusp of becoming a turd, a good turd, but a turd nonetheless. And I am going to be really happy when it actually happens, because off to the side, like one of the other guys from one of the other podcasts, like kind of pointed out that like Sammy's coming across as like a cuckold husband, like in the corner crying while some dude is like pounding his wife. Like, it's getting really bad, because he'll be like, I'm standing up for myself. And you're like, good for you, Sammy. And they'll call him on it, and he'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, you little bitch.
Go back to the corner and watch,
Fine, I'll just sit over here and watch. Like, it's really bad. And like, get it, I understand it, but like, holy shit. But yeah, I'll be so happy when that flip
like
hits.
Randy. Randy's like, he's just, that's how Randy would think. Like, he just kind of lays it out short and sweet, and like, yep, that's what Randy would say. It's neither good or bad. And it's like, in life, sometimes you can be selfish in a good way. And I think that's
for sure.
And I think that's what Randy was kind of getting at. But does Sammy take it as you just be selfish and take all you can get and damn the consequences? That's going to be. And plus, he's got Drew in his head too. So
yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There'll be more tables tossed about and backstage over the next coming weeks, I'm sure.
I still think that he's going to end up in a match with like Trick Williams. So that's my gut reaction. It has been for a while. That's where it all started, right? It started with Trick, and then I have a feeling it's going to stay with Trick. So we'll see, But yeah.
By the way, have you heard from Bully Ray at all yet?
No.
Your offer you sent out to him?
I know why now.
You gotta tell this story though, because we haven't told it on the pod. It's actually a pretty good story.
Okay, so we're gonna go back in the day. There was a reference. I forget after what Bills game. I would really have to go back. Bully Ray made a comment, or was it when they came back against Cincinnati? Maybe it was later in the year. So I sent a post to Bully Ray from Busted Open on Sirius XM. And I said, hey, I was like, come on out. You can put me through a table. I'll feed you. I'll get you any drink you want. I'll get you hammered. We'll go do a Bills game. And I was like, if not that, I'll give you one of my seats for the home opener, and you can put me through a table there. Your call. This week, he has one of our offensive linemen, Dion Dawkins, who's a huge WWE fan. Huge. If they're in Buffalo, Dion's there, man. Like, can't miss him. And Dion was on there talking about all this, like, Logan Paul, football rift that's going on. And, because they interviewed Dion, Bully Ray's like, hey, man, home opener, table, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You stole my... I was like, I brought it up first. I offered that shit up first. I get it. He's our $1 million, like, offensive left tackle. But I said it first. So pissed.
So now you got to hit up Dion Dawkins. And like, hey, man. And, like, make sure you send your time and date stamp tweets that you sent to... I asked him first.
Oh, my God. Like, yo... I just want to point out, I brought this up first. But no, it's all good.
Our listeners could be like, what a Karen.
I know, right? It's all about me. At least I don't sit in the corner and cry when somebody bitches me out.
Well,
but
that's the thing is you don't have to worry about going through a table.
I, as a Bills fan, we all know the stereotypes. Bills Mafia goes through tables. It's bullshit. It's like 1%. What if Bully Ray is like, yo, Sean, I'm going to put you through a table? I can't pass that up. Shit, I'll wear my Buffalo Bills WWE belt and get put through the table, man. I don't give a crap. That's memories, dude.
Well, that all got famous because my stepson was at the Bills game when he recorded the guy going through the flaming table.
I was in that lot.
Yep. Yeah, that was the one that was
No,
on.
mine was this
That was the one that. This is the one that made it on ESPN because they kept showing it. Yeah, that was my stepson Dan recorded that. Dan Houser would be very upset, would probably curse ESPN because Dan has yet to receive any of the human monies for his video. ESPN, you are cursed. Oh, by the way, speaking of ESPN, Pat McAfee has stepped away from WWE.
Yep.
So,
he has. And,
I just think he's got a lot on his plate, and I just don't think he has the ability to give the full effort to WWE right now.
I think so.
That's what I think it is. So, but hey, I'm sure someday Pat will show up and like Michael Cole will have a collective orgasm at ringside when Pat comes out. So
Sami Zayn can watch. I'm going to hell.
That, sir, just won all the internet.
Going viral for all the wrong reasons.
Yes. And you know what is nice? You just like tied a nice little bow at the end of that segment. We started with Sammy, and then we get back with Cuckold Sammy at the very end.
Absolutely. It's all cyclical. You know what else is all cyclical? Johnny Gargano laying on things.
We're using big words tonight.
Boy, so Johnny Gargano finally got his chutzpah back, and he goes to the ring and says, "I'm Johnny Wrestling." And he goes, "I'll wrestle anybody." And I go, "It's going to be Obafemi." And it was Obafemi. And Obafemi did Obafemi things, and Johnny Gargano ended up laid the F out. And we're back to planking Johnny, which, yay. I love the planking Johnny stuff.
Did that happen even before the pin? Like he got dumped one time when catatonic and Obi did one last thing and pinned him.
It was just done. Like even after he got pinned, and you know how the wrestlers usually throw the guy's legs off or whatever. Yeah. He was just back to planking. I was like, and the best part was the camera angle on Candice LeRae going like, "Oh shit. I just had him out of this. Now we're back to it again."
You know, we talk about Johnny, but I think she's been pretty solid in her role too.
No, she sold it good. Well, because he's not talking. He's just laying there catatonic. So she has to be the narrator of that story, and she's doing a great job of it.
Well,
and it's even better because that's his wife.
All these tag teams that he pissed off in the SmackDown tag division, they're actually kind of gravitating towards her now, like almost like they feel bad for her, and like they see it's. I don't know if there's a story there, but it's kind of interesting that you've seen it because then you saw him backstage with Candice and Johnny planking, and was it Alex Shelley? One of them was talking with Candice, and the other one came over, was none too pleased because he thought his partner wasn't there for him. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Gargano's catatonic state will unite the SmackDown's tag division roster into harmony and unity by being catatonic.
Maybe the good Danhausen could be Johnny Gargano's partner, and he could curse everybody else. Neither here nor there. All right, Matt, we got to get into some unpleasantness. So, this episode is entitled Commentary STFU. If you don't know what that means, look it up. That's why Google's there. Throughout this entire SmackDown episode, over and over and over, in every which way, this is Cody Rhodes' last chance to get to WrestleMania. This is Cody Rhodes' last chance, blah, 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 blah. And we all knew, at least I knew, I kind of went into this assuming Cody was going to beat Drew in this match. The fact that you had to, throughout the effing night, tip the hand throughout the night. The only reason you would do that and hype that and everything else should be if Drew was going over. You shouldn't talk about it if Cody's going over. Like maybe in passing during commentary, like, "Ooh, it ain't looking good for Cody, man. I don't know what he's going to do for WrestleMania," during commentary. But no, we had to have caveats and interviews and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, shut up. And Tessitore at the end of this was so annoying.
Told you he's terrible.
I am usually much more tolerant of Joe Tessitore. Like, I accept him for who he is. We all know it's the B team, right? Like Graves and Cole are definitely the A team, but like
they're more like the B minus C plus team.
But Jiminy Christmas, man. And he tried to go eloquent with everything at the end and like, the roads to WrestleMania. And I'm just like, ugh, ugh. Like, don't give it away. Don't hype it in a way that we all go, yeah, he's going.
And they never hyped Drew like the whole show of like having Cody's number, in the 3 stages of hell, and they didn't really they kind of like by the time the match happened, they kind of sucked a lot of the enthusiasm out of it. And the sad thing was, it was actually like a really good match.
It was a good match, but like you gave it away.
It was a PLE quality match. Would I say it's a big 4? No, but it's your standard PLE match. It was really good.
So a lot of people have problems with this, and I don't disagree. So Cody lost the Rumble and Elimination Chamber match, but yet he got a title shot before Randy Orton did. But Randy won the Elimination Chamber. And I was like, that's actually a very legitimate point to make. And then on top of that, I had to put this disclaimer out because I've seen a lot of this discourse too, because the Roman fans are out in force. And a lot of Roman fans are also Rock fans. So people are like, oh, everybody's turned on Cody. Could have had Rock Roman 2 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all the Cody crybabies had to cry, blah, 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 right? Like they're just going on and on about this. I have a news flash for all of you. 2 years ago, going into WrestleMania season, people didn't bitch about The Rock because it was The Rock and we like Cody better. We bitched because we spent 2 effing years invested in complete the story, and it was like we just flung that out the window like a damn frisbee. Yeah, that's why people were so pissed about it.
Yeah, because
yeah, and that was the effing problem. It wasn't that we're all like these uber like Cody fans. No, we were like, shit, I've been following this story for 2 years, and you just go, we're just going to scrap that.
Yeah, and I think what people don't understand, like when we say we didn't want Cody being around the title, we didn't want him win the title, it's not that we don't like Cody, it's just that the character needs to go a different direction.
He needs a refresh.
And now they've given him his 3rd world title, which it just seems like every title range is going to get shorter now. But I digress. But I mean, I wanted Randy Cody at WrestleMania. I don't know if I wanted it. It made it too easy for them to make it like Randy Cody's a big match, but it didn't have to be a main event. That's my thinking. You still could have had Drew McIntyre and Randy, whatever. That I don't think Randy needed a title. The only reason why I think it's important now is because Randy's going for his 15th.
But the problem is, and here's another news flash for fans, because I got called out. I popped into the Nick's podcast, just to say hey, and somebody pointed out, they're like, well, Cody Randy has happened before. Yes, it has. However, ... not this iteration of Cody. Right? Like, that was up and coming Randy and still finding himself Cody back in the day. Cody has now found him and established himself. I guess they've wrestled 7 times according to the interwebs.
All right. Well, no, with that logic, it makes no sense, because if you look at Rock Austin, they main evented 17. I think they wrestled at 19. And then I think 21 was 21 or 20, whatever it was, the 3rd one. So what? They had 3 WrestleMania matches in 5 or 6 years. What's wrong with if you ran something that was successful 3 or 4 years ago? Why can't you run it back?
Because people said it needed to happen, right? Like we have been saying that it needs to happen because there's story there, and they're like they've already done this story, and it's like no, they really haven't.
There's no logic in that because when Cody and Randy fought, it was a long time ago. They both changed. Randy's now the old veteran. Cody was the guy that left, pursued other ventures, and has come back home, and now it's So they haven't.
Well, Cody's bigger now than he was,
right.
So like,
yeah, he wasn't,
and he's established.
Exactly. So that makes it different. Like just like Roman Reigns now is nothing like Roman Reigns in the Shield. Totally different character. 10 years has gone by almost since the Shield. So yeah, that's horrible logic because you had guys that ran feuds back in the day that go 10, 15 years or more than that. If you do it right, you can have guys, feud again.
You can, and it's time, but Roman stans hate Cody stans, and I really don't give a flying leap of crap about either. I know what I want, and I know what I like. The reason I'm down on Cody is because he sucks. He's not compelling right now. His character sucks. And it's just the goody-goody, like, I'm just like, man, go fuck your face. Like, I'm so, like, over his shit. And it's just like, fun. Like, F you. Get your ass back on the bench, scrub. Like,
I can
so over him.
Tell when Sean's been working with active duty units. He gets a little ornery on podcasts. Drops a few F-bombs and shows
I have been around the life for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got your crustiness back on.
I know, right? Well, speaking of crusty, let's get into the crusty ass Raw. Actually, Raw wasn't crusty. It was actually pretty good.
I liked Raw.
But again, same as SmackDown though. A lot of storytelling, not a lot of wrestling.
I could have done with a little bit more, but I understand why. They don't want the roster being thinner.
Yeah. So we kick off the show. Adam Pearce calls out Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins and a gazillion like mass dudes come out, and they had this conversation with Pearce. Now keep in mind, Seth never said a damn word during this whole segment, but a lot of people made fun of like the shifting around all the hooded dudes. And I brought up the point that if anybody has seen Batman Begins, and during his time with the League of Shadows, where he's like kind of learning all his stuff to become what would eventually be Batman, there was a scene fairly similar, right? They're all dressed like effing ninjas anyway, so do that. So Seth just kind of blended himself into this group of ninjas. They all scurried away when the Vision comes out and talking crap, and then LA Knight comes out, and then the Usos come out, and it's just like, okay. I am glad LA Knight's getting a little bit more run and love, and he drove the ambulance with Paul Heyman last week. Now Paul Heyman's out indefinitely, i.e. we'll see him when Lesnar's back on.
Yep. By the way, I guess for LA Knight, that was like a bucket list thing to drive the ambulance.
I love it.
I guess he's having a good time flying through the parking lot in the limousine. So, yeah. So, and then I like right off the bat, right after that, they come back from commercial, and there's the Usos, and all they're talking about is CM Punk. Not that they're tag team champions, not that, they just had a brawl or whatever with the Vision. They went right to CM Punk, and I liked it. I really liked it. I like that. I like that Jay is like still playing the hothead, and Jimmy's kind of like the calming.
We'll get into it because let's hold off on that.
I know. I liked how they teased it right at the beginning of the show, and then they made you wait till the very end of the show. So it was really it was good. It carried you through because they didn't hit it. After that, Cole and Graves talked about it briefly, but there was no more backstage segments. There was no other dialogue about it. So really,
they didn't bludgeon us.
Yep. You knew something was going to happen later, but they didn't flood you with too much
They
information.
did a good job because there was a long stretch in between when that went down and when the end of the show went down, and you didn't really. It had enough time to kind of slip your mind.
Right.
And then when they came out, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, I like those moments, and that was well done.
And it was important because they set it up that early in the show. Whoever planned out the show, I liked that they put it there.
No, I think they did a good job. And then we had Tag Team Turmoil on Friday, and we get a gauntlet match as the number one contender for the IC title. And it kicks off with Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria. And my biggest beef.
Odd opening.
Man, blowing your load right up front, first off, with a couple of them. And then secondly, like, is Lyra a jobber now? Which is upsetting because she's really talented and good. But I feel like they're treating her a little bit of a jobber lately.
I don't know, because that is Io Sky, who was world champion for a long time and just tag team.
Fair enough.
And you know what? It was a short match, but it was kind of nip and tuck. And that's what I kind of like about these gauntlet matches. They don't drag on. You might get a segment where one segment might go 8 to 10 minutes, but everything's usually fairly quick. So I like the pacing of it. So I thought that was good. And then it set up Io and Raquel, and I liked that too.
Yep. And the way it ended set up Io and Ivy Nile, and Ivy Nile gets a little bit of a W, which is good for her. So like...
Yeah, that was a nice little sequence. And then when Vakir nailed Liv, she like nailed it with that drop kick. Good, it was good work. Yeah, I love that. I like that whole segment right there where it goes from Io to Raquel, and then Stephanie and Liv come out, and then they like beat the crap out of Io, and then Ivy just comes in and pins her in like 6 seconds. I'm like, that's creative writing. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
You're giving Ivy a little push. You're not hurting Io because she had 2 matches and got beat up at the end of it, so it made sense. And it was done like bang, 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 so it wasn't drug out.
Then we get Bayley defeating Ivy Nile, and then it comes down to the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka and Bayley. And Bayley goes over, which leads to some interesting backstage stuff later on with, because Kofi Kingston's trying to recruit
Javon Evans.
And like in the background, Asuka's still berating Kairi. And it's like, I will say this, and I said this to you last night. It's going to be Io and Asuka, and Kairi is going to flip to Io, being kind of by her side. I really think that.
I think so too. And the only thing, when they were announcing this gauntlet match, I was like, cool, like whoever wins this will probably, whatever. It'll carry on through WrestleMania season. But with Bayley winning, the match is next week. And I think we all have a good idea that it's WrestleMania will probably be AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, and it'll probably be a stiff match that'll close out their chapter, more than likely. So unless they do something wild and Bayley goes over, but I don't know. I have a feeling like you having Bayley to win this to give her like a nice token, and then she's going to lose to AJ Lee next week. And is Bayley going to be in WrestleMania or not? That's the big question. I think they owe it to her.
She should be. They owe it to her. She took one for the team last year. She should be in WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. And when she won this match, I was like, this is how they're going to get her into Mania.
Well, what you do is you have Bayley lose to to AJ Lee, because Becky's going to be back next week because she should be feeling better. I'm sure her flu will be over
if
by
Jessica
next week.
Carr didn't infect her with the flu.
Yeah.
Rough times in the Becky Lynch household. But
so I can see Becky causing an issue, and you had mentioned that that's a match you'd like to see Becky Bayley and AJ Lee at WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, and I think that makes the most sense. I think it's going to be a triple threat, and the reason I say that is it protects AJ Lee. Even if she's going to lose, she doesn't have to get pinned. We already know there's a history between her and them, and Becky and Bayley have always had a good chemistry in the ring, and those two can You could put on a WrestleMania quality event match and not have it be too short, right? Like you're going to want that star power to get some mileage.
Who's to say that AJ doesn't win at WrestleMania?
She can. It's a triple threat.
Right.
But I think at some point, though, we all know how Sean feels about part-timers, right? I don't think they should have the belt. I got scar tissue from Roman, and before Roman, it was Brock Lesnar, and I had an issue with him, too.
Yep. We talked about it for years.
I'm consistent, right? Like, yes. I am very consistent about this. And if AJ Lee is not going to be around full-time, she needs to drop the belt. But this is a safe way to have her drop the belt and have Becky kind of come back and whatever. I don't really give a hoo-hoo. It'll be fine.
It was a fun gauntlet. Like, Ivy Nile looked really good. Bayley looked good. So, yeah. I like the gauntlet matches.
So, after that, so we get Penta coming out. I know there's another thing we have to talk about, but I'll get into it. So, Penta comes out celebrating his IC title. He cuts a promo in the ring, and it was so good. You felt his emotion. I was so happy for him. And like, he obviously English isn't his first language, but man, he conveyed so much of it. And I got enough out of it that I was so happy with that. And I'm glad he got to rock it out, man. Like, you know.
You compared him to EO, like, because EO, her English is, I would say Penta's English is probably a little better than EO's.
It is.
But I think it's the way they emote their character and then with what they say. I think the fans just identify with them both so well, and they're just likable. So it just becomes, it's like easier to overlook, like, not that we're like, it's bad that English is a second language. I'm just saying, like, we can overlook if he can't say, if he's not as fluent as you and I are, because he's not. But he's a likable person. He's a likable character. Like, everybody loves him. He could just talk about ice cream for like a 2-minute promo and people would probably still go nuts over it.
Oh my God. So a nice thing that happened was right after he won the IC title, a video comes out with him and this little Penta fan, right? That's selling candy to get enough money to buy Penta action figures. And like Penta ends up like seeing this kid, and the kid's reaction, like the kid's just like, you know, kind of in this room, and he's like, "Oh, you want to buy candy?" Blah blah blah. And Penta comes around the corner, and the kid's like, "Oh!" And you literally hear the gasp in the video, and I was like, it got me in the feels, man. I like in today's world, it's very hard to tell when things are genuine.
Yeah.
That kid's reaction when Penta turned the corner was 100% genuine, because he was just, "Hey, you want to buy?" Yeah. And he just froze. Like, he was like, "Holy crap, it's really him." And like, oh my God, I was so happy with it. And like, I don't understand, obviously. Look, man, I took Spanish in high school. I don't understand 3/4 of the crap. It doesn't matter. You know, biblioteca. There we go. Cool. I can count to 10. Whatever. But like,
see.
See. Okay? With Penta, it's I don't understand what he's saying half the time, but man, I'm just in it with the ride for him. And then our friend, who is slowly, man, you know, I'm telling you, Matt, Mr. Danhausen, really quick and really fast. He's starting to work my way up the board of my little Mount. He climbing the Mount Rushmore right now.
You saying he's starting to approach the untouchable stage? Like, what, you can't talk bad about him?
So good. So it's so beautiful, right? Because like, he had his, obviously, so his reveal was whatever, right? Like, and a lot of it, like, for guys like you and I,
a lot of fans thought it was Jericho, or they thought it was going to be something big. A lot of people thought it was
neither here nor there. But like, we don't have a history with him. It's one of the things that it makes us believe it or not, it's one of the things that endears us to other podcasts who are like, yeah, wrestling in general, like pump it in my veins. And like you and I are like main roster only. And like, so when people go like, oh my God, such and such got called up from NXT, we're like, we'll see. We'll let you know. But
Yeah,
we're able to give that fresh perspective.
Nick was like, so like, what was your first impressions? And I'm thinking like, all right, well, the dude came out of a box and they played some music and he had some dancers, one of which was his wife, actually.
Really?
Yeah, his wife was a burlesque dancer. Yeah, Wifehausen. I think I'm going to start calling Christy Wifehausen. And then I will curse her.
That's awesome.
Every day.
You are cursed. Because you're stuck with me.
That's it. Shoot, no, it's great stuff. And just like, I was talking to you, like, last night, if you notice, Danhausen likes to touch things. Like, the little videos that I've seen on social media, he has to touch, like, all the merchandise. And then, like, when Dominic came out last week before he cursed him, he was, like, trying to touch the belts. Like, oh, that's nice. Can I hold this? Like, he's innocent. Like, and I just think it's hilarious because he's
that person with no boundaries.
He's very
but he's
good,
a really nice.
Yes.
Nice person, so you don't really want to like.
But he thinks he's.
You don't want to treat him. Yeah, and then like, I mean, it's all the little things though, man. Like when he was chasing all this down the hallway
with his little paper,
with his paper, and like all this is like, hold that thought, and he's like, and he's following all this. He never moves the paper. The paper stays.
No.
I mean, let's just not negate the fact that the paper's all crumpled, right? Like,
and then what was with the goofy three-fingered handshake he was trying to give the Miz?
So, like, you get that, but what I love about the character already, right? Like, and they came hot out of the gate, and it was brilliant because he curses Dom. Dom loses. So now he already has it where, like, he's got to put this shit in people's heads, right? So, like, Miz is like, I'm not mentoring you. He's like, well, you are, because if you don't, you'll be cursed. Just remember what happened to Dom. And it's like, yeah, you can't deny that result. Even if one doesn't have to do with the other, you can't deny that result. And the original El Grande Americano decides to be kind of a douche nozzle to him. So he gets cursed, and we come out to the ring. Penta's losing his shit because why? The true El Grande Americano comes out, as I like to refer to him. And I said in the text chat,
Danhausen's trying to, Chad Gable's trying to be nice to him, but like, Danhausen's trying to like take his mask off and touch him like the guy's gearing up for a match, and like,
I like that.
Danhausen's it's like on him like flies on cattle in the summer,
Wouldn't it be great though? Hear me out for this one. Wouldn't it be hilarious if like somehow you tie Danhausen into the mask for mask match between original and true El Grande Americano? Like he just ends up like, ooh, let me see. Like he unveils him like unintentionally. It'd be great. But anyway, so like
make him the special guest make him the special referee or something.
Limp ass count, like his handshake. So
kick out till you'll be cursed.
Yeah. So we get true El Grande Americano coming out, and it's like, all right, well, what happened to the Chad Gable variant?
Nothing.
But like
no explanation.
No explanation, no sight unseen. He just vanished. So we don't know if Chad Gable went Chad Gable and just.
Is there a bolo out in Seattle for looking for Chad Gable?
I don't know, but like, oh my God, it's so brilliant. And like Penta losing his crap, like, I'm not supposed to face this one. And because next week Chad Gable will come out and we'll be like, what? You faced El Grande Americano. You know what I mean? Like, your match was with El Grande Americano, but they got a match next week, so whatever. So I love how this went down. The springboard Mexican Destroyer was amazing. And Penta's just going to be huge, dude. Penta is just going to be, I think it was Michael Hayes that said it during Unreal, right? Like, he was like, Penta's going to be a huge star. And like, I think we just took our first step in that stardom right now for Penta. And then I kind of picked up on this last night, and I'm sitting here. So Chad Gable's doing his variation of El Grande Americano. I'm like, just doesn't work for me because I know you're Chad Gable. Like, I feel that you're Chad Gable. And like, I was out on the shtick fairly early when it was Chad Gable. And I was like, how strange is it that we have a guy that typically plays a German character that's now playing a Mexican luchador named El Grande Americano? Like, think of the dynamics involved in that and the hoops you have to jump to get through all those connected dots.
And it works. Like, he makes it work.
Well, the difference is that there are times when Kaiser's version he embraced it. Like, he went all in. So Heath Ledger's Joker, right? Or, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, like all those method actors where they just engross themselves into it. That's what you're really getting with Kaiser's variant on El Grande, whereas Chad Gable's coming across as annoying American tourist, right? Like, no habla español, where you like yell at a person in Spanish, like with your five word like freaking dialect, no, rule number dos. And it's just like, okay, man, you got to go because the other guy is like taking your fucking lunch money because like he's that damn good, right? Like I've heard Kaiser cut promos in Spanish, and I'm just like, he's so effing good,
I wonder if Gable's doing this more and more on purpose because it'll be just.
It'll make him getting unmasked a lot easier.
Yeah,
and then he can go on to this Hellfire touring against luchadors again, because he walked the wilderness. So we get a Stephanie Vakir promo, which is always good when they use native language to, let them talk in their natural dialect, give you the subtitles, and it really kind of comes across more impactful.
Well,
setting up
there's more emotion in it too,
So then we get a little bit of Judgment Day backstage, and then Dom decides he's going to come out to the ring to confront Finn Balor. So Finn comes out, tries to defend his position like, hey, man, I was trying to help you learn. And they dropped the ball on this one because they didn't point out one thing before Finn gets his ass beaten, excommunicated from Judgment Day. Not once did Finn say, you asked to do it yourself before he got his ass beat. And I think that one line would have taken that whole segment. It was very good and very well done. And you kind of thought, like, Dom's going to get some sense knocked into him. And then Finn Balor lined him up, and the Klingon took him out. And, yeah, game over for Finn Balor.
And the ladies got involved even. It was a good beatdown.
No, it was good, and it was well done, and it's fine. My theory is right now you're going to see Demon Finn Balor at WrestleMania. I think that the tension between him and Dom will ramp up so much that by the time you get to Mania, it's going to... Because let's keep this in mind. Like,
well, I think he'll face JD first, probably in the next...
No, but that's what I was getting at. So it's 40 days until Mania.
Okay.
As of yesterday. It's 40 days until Mania. Finn Balor just got excommunicated out of Judgment Day. We now have to establish, again, who face Finn Balor is. Right? Now it's time to get the face Finn Balor out there. And I think it's perfect timing. Like you said, it'll be JD McDonough. It'll be some interference stuff. They're probably going to put Finn in a corner where you go, oh my God, maybe Finn goes Hell in the Cell at Mania. I'd be down for it, but whatevs.
We'll see. Especially if he brings a demon. Did he play the demon in Hell in the Cell against Edge too?
Possibly.
That's
but
the one
I
when
think
that's the one he got busted open and they had to like pause the match and staple Finn's head back together mid-match.
But now he's got a tag partner, Demonito.
Yes. No, I like it. I think we got a little taste of face Finn when he fought CM Punk in Belfast. We've seen, but for people who haven't seen face Finn in a while, it's cool, especially the old music. Yeah.
I'm so happy his old theme is back, man. Like, the worst part about it, there's certain things in life, like Cody Rhodes, you'll hear a song, you'll be randomly like, Jey Uso's intro, you're eating just because it's out of habit. And as soon as I've always been a huge Finn Balor fan, like during his last face run. And I was like, oh my God, I love me some Finn. And then like his theme started coming back and I'm already like, I love that stuff. And it's such a good intro for him too.
It's kind of weird because like all my favorite intro music has a lot of elements of classical music. Like I like Finn's. I love Shinsuke's music, and that's it's Asian style, but this classical. You got the violins; it sounds very classical. And then, of course, I loved it when Flair would come out to 2001, and I liked it with Randy Savage would come out to Pot. So those are always my favorite because the music always. Because anybody can write like a rock song to come out to. I always liked Edge's. I liked Edge's intro song.
Yeah. So, all right. After all this hullabaloo, the hotel internet started crapping out, but we got Obafemi and Rusev in a it was probably the most intense match Obafemi has had since getting called up. And you brought up an excellent point, which is they got to be real careful with him because you're going to write yourself into a corner with Obafemi the same way you did with Gunther.
Felt like they buried Rusev last night. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the match went 5 minutes. Like, it was short.
The last time they had a face-to-face, it went really quick, too, because you thought, which leads me to believe that, like, Rusev isn't Obafemi's hurdle, right? And I think that that's important. So, Rusev isn't Obafemi's hurdle, so somebody is going to be. So, we'll see how it plays out, right? And it's just, you are right, though, that they got to be really, 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 really careful because, like, Gunther's kind of written into this story, too, but you and I were talking last night about...
You had an interesting theory about Gunther and Oba and somebody else.
So, we have this open challenge with Brock Lesnar. There's some rumors flying around that Brock is kind of the holdup because they don't think that Brock should lose this match. Brock shouldn't lose until he gets ready to have his retirement match. I don't disagree with that. My knee-jerk reaction was the person to answer the challenge is Obafemi. And I was like, gets him into Mania. He's already kind of over. People would be really excited. And I was like, you're going to kind of blow your wad with that one. And I didn't like it. So then I got thinking about it. One thing, and this ties into what we're saying about Obafemi, but more so now about Gunther. Gunther's been kind of written into a corner. He's unstoppable. He retired John Cena. He retired AJ Styles. He retired Goldberg. He's really only lost a couple of matches. Jey Uso. Okay. Sami Zayn. So there's a couple of interesting things with Gunther. And this is why I think Gunther should be the one to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. Okay. Problem number one. Not problem, actually good news. Gunther hasn't won at Mania at all. Problem two. Gunther has yet to get a beatdown and meet somebody of equal caliber where he truly, truly has to work it. He'll underestimate opponents. He'll have decent matches with guys, but there's never really in a Gunther match that feeling of he's outmatched. Right?
Yeah, he gets tossed around like he tosses his opponents around. He is yet to face that.
I think that's why Gunther Lesnar is the perfect match for a WrestleMania, especially if what Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar are saying. If you don't want him to lose at Mania, him and Gunther is the perfect match. The reason why they are the perfect match is Gunther goes to do his chops. Lesnar laughs at him. You know what I mean? All those bullying, hard hit. Is Gunther really going to get a legitimate sleeper on Brock Lesnar? No. No. Brock Lesnar doesn't have a neck. You got to have a neck to choke somebody out. Right? Like, he's just one giant muscle.
Plus, he was NCAA champion, UFC champion, so he's got legit match skills. So I don't want it to be like a 5-minute toss around.
No. I want it to be a 10-minute.
I would love to see Brock. Like, yeah, he'll do the power stuff, but I'd like to see him almost rub like his amateur wrestling superiority into Gunther's face. Like I would love to see him just like wear him out on the mat, like, amateur style. Just to and me, I love Gunther, but I think it'd be so awesome I think it'd be a great story because everybody will expect him to beat the crap out of Gunther, and he will at some point. But the whole game plan, he should just out wrestle him, which will frustrate Gunther to no end, and then then they can start slapping meat, and then just beat each other up for the next 5 minutes.
I think that the best way to do this match is just like most opponents, especially smaller opponents against Gunther, have this nothing they try works, right? Probably the most successful wrestler, honestly, is Javon Evans against Gunther, to be fair. So I want to see him outclassed, outmatched. And doing that to Gunther adds a little humility into the character. Because right now the character is just like, oh, here comes Gunther. He's going to win because he's Gunther. But to have Lesnar, have him break out his best shit. Like, he goes for the sleeper. Lesnar just, meh, and flings him over. Or, he goes to do the chop and Lesnar's just like,
Or Gunther gives Brock a German suplex and Brock no-sells it and just stands up laughs at him.
Yes, that's what I want. It doesn't have to be Gunther getting dominated. It has to be, I almost would say it would be Gunther doing his normal thing and it not working.
Yep.
Like his normal overperform the guy and it's just backfiring epically. And I think it would be awesome.
And I want it to stay in the ring. Those two don't need to be going through tables. They don't need to be going through ringside barriers.
No, because you can tell that story in.
Because this is what we bitched about WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania or SummerSlam? I think both of them. One night they had an excessive amount of violence. I think it was SummerSlam, but
it was like the night of gimmicks, and then it was like
cage, street fight, no holds barred, no DQ, and then we'll throw in a triple threat, which is also no count out, no DQ, and it's like I'm about ready to go on YouTube and watch bum fights. If I want violence after violence, I can watch that. I'll watch old CZW and ECW and watch people, bleed out in a wrestling ring. But no, this should be if they get tossed outside, I just don't want it to be a brawl through the crowd. It should be in the ring.
No, I want it in the ring. And like I said, I envision this all as Gunther really trying his best stuff. Gunther isn't an outside the ring kind of guy. The next time, if it's Gunther that's going to retire Lesnar, the next time those two face each other, because you also set it up where Gunther goes, none of my normal shit works. Now I got to get creative, right? Which is a good thing for Gunther because, he's so, I know this is why you like him. He's so old school, but he is such a blasé style wrestler that to put him in a position where he's really got to go outside of his element, it would be huge.
Well, and his last two opponents have kind of done that, which has been Javon Evans and Dragon Lee. That's way outside of Gunther's comfort zone.
But now you got somebody that can match his power, right? That's really the key in all this. you don't normally have somebody that can match him for power. You just got somebody that can, kind of do cool crap to get around him and work around him, but you don't have somebody that can match him for move, power for power. And I think that's big. So I digress. Let's get into it, Matt. The CM Punk promo.
So can I go back? I said this in the chat last night. Punk's a hypocrite. So it hit me when they were playing the replay video of what happened last week, and Punk said, "You can hate me, but I will not let you disrespect me." And then not 5 minutes later, he closes out his promo with not only offending Roman by making a comment about his father, Sika, but basically the whole Anoa'i family and beyond. He offended him. And I'm like, what a fucking hypocrite. Like, he's the one that's like, don't do this, don't do as I say, not as I do. And I was just like, this is your baby face, but he's supposed to be, he's a total hypocrite. But this is your baby face champion.
There's this annoying thing with Punk right now. With his promos. I've been hard on him. I admit it. Sean's hard on CM Punk because I don't get it. And I don't have a frame of reference.
You don't have a lot of history with Punk.
So I don't have any nostalgia for CM Punk. So what I see is what I get right now. And I feel like with this Punk character, when he cuts good promos, he's just missing 1 or 2 lines that would make it all the more impactful. When he's not ripping off dad jokes and stupid crap and just doing filler. Anything dealing with Roman, he's been legit. Like, he's been cutting really good. He's been cutting good promos. I'm going to take the really out of that because he starts this whole spiel. Because here's the other problem, too. A lot of what he's saying is shit that we've been saying for years. You and me, specifically.
Yeah. You never hear. You can't do it alone.
But he undermines his own arguments. Just like you pointed out about last week. He makes his brilliant points to Roman Reigns, and then he undermines it with his going out line. This week, all he had to do was apologize to the Usos. And there's ways that you could do it. Like, look, this is honestly about me and Roman. Because he talked shit about Dusty. Cody never spoke up about it, but, like, now you got Punk standing up for Cody and for Dusty. Like, some of this shit's been done. And, like, he wasn't lying about that. He wasn't lying about the fact that Roman internet is cray-cray, Matt. Cray-cray. The Roman stands are, like, so on this. Like, they're like, well, they made amends, and it's different because it's family and all this other horse shit. Well, you and I have said for eons now, the end of the Roman Reigns current story truly is Roman getting humbled.
Yes.
I think I have a glimmer of hope that's what we're going for right now.
Yeah, because I was telling you last night, he and Jimmy weren't out there to stand up for Roman. They were standing up for Uncle Sika. That's
MVP of that whole segment is Jimmy. Jimmy was awesome. Absolutely brilliant last night.
He was brilliant in the earlier segment, earlier in the day. Like at the beginning of the show, he was really good. He was the calming effect. Because Jay was like, "Oh, I don't want to talk. I got nothing to say to Punk." And Jimmy's like, "Yeah, we do." Like he's kind of like the thinker. Jay just like loses his
relate
shit.
a lot. I relate a lot with Jimmy quite a bit because that character, Jay's kind of doing his best impression of D'Lo Brown, just losing his crap.
Jimmy's a thinker. Like, he thinks before he says stuff or it does stuff. Like, he takes that extra few seconds before he says something. And, yeah,
yes.
that promo, he was excellent. Because, like, all Punk had to do was say he was sorry. He couldn't even do that.
But he could have qualified that apology, right? So he could have qualified that apology with, like, look, I apologize to the two of you. Yes, I respect your uncle. However, blah. Instead of doing that, he just went off on a diatribe about how
he was
all true stuff. All true stuff, but the problem is that he deserved to get punched in the face. Bully Ray talked about this today. Like, I saw a clip of it, and he was more so talking about the emotion of that promo, meaning he was on the edge of his seat, and he said about halfway through, he was like, "You need to punch Punk in the face."
Yeah,
I thought Punk needed to be punched in the face.
Yeah, when he was talking about, when I trade with Sika and they would pay me to clean the gym, like, I don't give a shit about none of that. Like, dude, it's not about that. Like, you said something about their dead uncle, which was uncalled for. All you had to do is say sorry, make it right. That's like real life. That's most of the time what happened, unless you're an arrogant prick, which I guess CM Punk is, and an egomaniac. So, whatever. But that shouldn't be your quote #1 baby face and world champion of the Raw brand.
So I think I've been saying it for quite a while now. Just because Roman gets a pop
does
not mean he's a face. And I think a lot of people are conflating that. They're like, oh, look at how over Roman is. I got a newsflash for you, kiddos. Like, just because he gets a pop does it again. That's why I call him the Barking Seals.
The problem is that the brand, WWE and Raw, and the commentary that you want to shut the freak up sometimes, they're the guilty ones because they paint Punk as a face. They paint Roman Reigns. Like, they're programming the listener like who they should cheer for. But the smart wrestling fans are like, they don't care what Michael Cole and Triple H and Joe Tessitore say. Like, I like him, I like her, I'm going to cheer for him regardless. That's why I like Seth Rollins. It really has to take him to be super dastardly for him to get booed. And even then, he's not like getting booed out of the building heat. He's still got
because the Barking Seals are going to sing his song. The Barking Seals say CM Punk. The Barking Seals put their ones in the air and acknowledge Roman Reigns. Like, that's just what they do. The Barking Seals will yeet, whether or not they agree with the character or not. They're going to yeet. Well, and it's like,
I got to be honest, Sean. If I'm going to spend the ticket prices that WWE's charging to go to a show, I guess I'm going to be a Barking Seal because I'm going to get my hundreds of dollars worth. I don't mean 100. I mean hundreds. I'll eat. And
my point in that though is it's not genuine.
No,
what the reactions are in certain instances when Roman Reigns comes out and says, "Acknowledge me." That's not genuine. For some, it may be. But it's not genuine. It's just repetition, It's just, this is what we do. And it's the same with eating. It's the same with, singing Shinsuke's song. Like, we're all very programmed. I talked about it earlier. I do that with Finn Balor. Like, I'm programmed to do that. And that's fine. But you have to acknowledge, but you can't use that as the basis for whether or not a person is a face or a heel. Roman Reigns hasn't changed shit about his character at all.
This makes me even think about, we just talked about all these wrestlers, and they all have like their little gimmicks, and the fans chant along. You know who doesn't really have like a setup like that to chant names is Rhea Ripley. Like, her pop is purely organic.
Yes.
There's no catchphrase that she doesn't really have a catchphrase.
Nope. Mammy.
Mommy. That's it. But like, Cody's always like, what do you want to talk about? And LA Knight does the same thing. And it's like, Rhea different. There's nothing for her to catch on. Yeah. But like, Rhea doesn't have,
I'm programmed.
Other than being like mommy on top, but she doesn't even use that every promo. So that just shows. So like, we may be underestimating Rhea a little bit because a lot of these other guys and gals have AIDS. They got the right music and they got their little chants and their little catchphrase. Rhea's just busting ass out there and like killing it.
She is that good. When I say she's in the top of the wrestlers in the company, she's in the top of the wrestlers of the company. Not like, just
Drew doesn't, like Drew McIntyre. He's another one. He doesn't really have a catchphrase. He just goes. So, which they're okay, but I always thought like a catchphrase was like a crutch after a while. Like even like even Austin, when Austin came out and everything was Austin 316 says this, Austin 316. After a while, he backed off it, and he would still use it, and then it would like mean more when he would
Well,
do it.
he got really good at not manipulating the crowd, but using the crowd, right? Like the whole what chant, like the whole what stuff, like he just played into it, and
Yeah,
after he did that, it was just gravy, baby.
let's make
Like
another $1 trillion on merch sales for a what shirt.
so, this is what I think is really going to happen here. I think that based off of last night, what we're going to see is we're going to see almost like not a half-assed olive branch be handed out to the Usos, right? Like Roman trying to bring, we're gonna run it back, man. We're getting the band back together. You know, go give Sami Zayn. He ain't doing shit. Like, let's give him a call. I think we're gonna see Roman try to assemble the bloodline again. Like, I think we're gonna see Roman kind of suck that up and try to do it. I could be wrong. But I feel like now that there's friction between the Usos and Punk, they're all going to build this up. And I think what's really going to happen is Roman is going to think like, shit's on tight now, man. I got it all back together again. Like everything's back to normal.
I want to see how Roman addresses the Usos next week. Like, does it
Yes.
come from like, is it real gratitude, like for sticking up for the legacy of his father and their uncle? Or is it more like you're still loyal to me? Like he still thinks he has that power.
I
want
think
to hear how he delivers it. Like is it, like is he going to be sincere at Jimmy and Jay because they had his back, or is it like oh they still like they revere me, like I can still get him to do what I want?
I think this is going to be a little Hansel and Gretel-ish, and he's going to be the witch in the candy house, right? Like, come back to me, come back. And like he's gonna come back, or they're gonna kind of tease that they're kind of back in the fold. And I think what really happens is right before Mania, Roman's gonna think he's got his shit on lock, and he's gonna he's gonna do the wrong thing at the wrong time, or say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and the switch is gonna go off, and a lot of the people are gonna go, CM Punk's a dick for saying what he said. However, ... I kind of see what he's saying. Like, how the F have you not apologized to anybody that you treated like shit during the freaking bloodline? And he never has. Like, Paul Heyman, let's go down the laundry list. You put Sami Zayn in a bad position. You put the Usos in a bad position. You kind of put Solo Sikoa in a bad position. You just deuced out on your freaking wise man, left him in the hands of Solo, who ends up putting the wise man through a freaking table. You know, we got
Paul Heyman's got
bum-ass Paul
quite a bit
Heyman
the last couple about last year.
Like, you know, Roman actually has a lot to be accountable for, but to just go, I'm Roman Reigns, I don't apologize. I think you let the ego flow with him, and then all of them go, bro.
I think it's Jimmy. I think Jimmy's the one that's going to realize that Roman's no good for them. And I think it goes back to, remember when Jay was like dipping his toes in the heel waters because like Roman was feeding him information and he was like take care, and Jimmy was calling him out on that, like, man, you can't trust. Kind of said, Roman's like not a good guy. You still can't trust him. He kind of was saying back then. Well, like Jimmy's showing up to be the level head again, especially with this whole Punk thing. So I think you keep that continuity going, which would be great because the continuity going all the way back to last year.
Yes.
And you bring it full circle where Roman thinks he's going to have his loyal cousins at his beck and call, and Jimmy's like, no, we did this before, and it failed miserably.
But I want it to get all the way to Mania. Like,
yeah, You don't
because
cut it off.
what you have to do is when that match happens, and this is how you keep Roman looking strong too, right? When that match happens, and you're like, shit, here comes the OG bloodline is here, and like they screw Roman, and like you find out that Roman has nothing. Like they're all out on him. Because you got to stop and think, like, they had that Survivor Series match, and, like, they just took him back. Like, he was like, yo, we're going to get the band back together. We're going to get in a cage. Let's go. And they all went. Because family. And, yeah, it's going to be rough, man.
Yeah. No, I do like the fact that it doesn't feel like we're rushing our way to fill the card. Like we're still 5+ weeks out. We already got all of our world title matches lined up.
I think that
you have
they got to be careful, though. Because, like, we've seen this before with them, with their timelines. And we're like, shit, is that all they're going with? And then next thing you know, you'll get that 1 week where it's like, match, you get a match, you get a match, you get a match. Yeah. And, like, it's like, yo, bro, like, chill the fuck out. Yeah, we just start slapping stuff together. Like, there's some good stories out there right now. And it's just like right now, they're just like, I don't want them to go into, you got to fill the card.
No, I mean, it's coming together. You got Dom and Finn. You got Gable and Kaiser. You got the mess with the women's IC title. I don't know what they're going to do with Julia or Kiana James. I think Julia will probably I don't even know if Julia will be on the WrestleMania card. She might defend her title like SmackDown Friday night before WrestleMania, possibly, which is fine. If you get all the titles defended on that weekend, I still think you should defend them all on the show. You were saying maybe Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. Logan Paul's stirring some stuff, so you got LA Knight and some other guys sitting around, so got to find something for the Vision. Vision really don't have anything that's for WrestleMania.
Because they're all on IR. Yeah. But so folks, it's been a great week. It's been a big week for the podcast.
Yes, sir.
So great news. Unfortunately, again, I didn't have a lot of time to prep, but good friend of ours who happened to be over at he was over on Nick's podcast, but our friend on YouTube, his handle's Weekly Steel Chair Pod. The good man was our 100th freaking subscriber. We did it, folks. We're actually at 101, as Matt informed me this morning. But we did it, man. We got to 100 before our 1 year mark. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I thought if we hit 50 our first year, that we'd be pretty good.
Yeah. I was super stoked. And it means a lot, folks. And the hilarity of this is, obviously you'll never know, but Matt and I text each other quite a bit. And it's not always fun stuff. Or not always, just straight up pod stuff. We have interests in common, like NASCAR, Danhausen. Like so much Danhausen lately. But, it was so like today we were going through and I was like, I know I screen grabbed this. And sent it to you. And we're like scrolling. And we're like, shit, I can't find this thing. So the good news is we have our 100th subscriber. I found the clip. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get it so I could put it into the pod so you could see where he told us. Oh, here we go. Reese. Thank you. I had to look up the name because I'm horrible with names as it is. So Reese, who is our 100th subscriber. So perfect timing for Reese. He actually let me know. He followed me on Nick's podcast and he said, I'm Sean's 100th subscriber, and he put it in the chat. So we got screen captures out there. We're going to put them out. We're going to take that image. We're going to put it out on socials. But that's the big announcement, man. We had 100 subscribers on YouTube, and that is huge for Matt and I because, like Matt said, we went into this, we're like, a couple of people who subscribe. It's like when you got kids that are doing fundraisers and you're like, well, we know we're buying stuff, and like your 5 other friends, that's kind of what we thought this podcast would be. But 100 subscribers, yeah, man, good stuff.
No, and thank you for all that have subscribed and like this over the past almost 11 months. So, yeah, we got a big month coming up next month with our 1 year. Uh, I don't know. Sean's mentioned a couple things. I think he's got some plans he's not sharing with me for the 1 year. Very good. Very. We're gonna have a great 1 year anniversary show. I'm sure it'll be very good and very evil.
So I'll tip my hat on a couple of things. So we're gonna be part of Podapalooza or Podmania, this year. So it's a bunch of podcasts. This is mainly honchoed by Mikey over at BC WrestlePod and Nick and them. But we're all gonna kind of crissy-cross and big WrestleMania weekend for podcasting and everything else for all us wonderful wrestling podcasters out there. So you got that to look forward to. Obviously, WrestleMania will be a huge, huge week.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about if you and I are going to do anything like a post-show wrap-up, or if we're going to wait till the Raw after WrestleMania. I don't know. Like, I got to be honest, I got very expensive concert tickets for my wife in Pensacola the night of WrestleMania, not night one. I booked it like last September or August. So whatever. So this will be my game plan. Like, I go to Pensacola the concert, I'm going to miss night one. That's fine. So that means that Sunday I have to get up, and I don't know if I come home after being at a 2.5 hour concert and like watch the replay till 3 a.m, then get some sleep.
You're damn right. That's dedication.
Or do I just get up in the morning?
You will watch it, or you are cursed.
But anyway, so we're going to figure it out. Because Royal Rumble, we'll be honest, we had a little bit of podcast fatigue, but WrestleMania is the biggest show. And for us, that's our right before
where it all started.
WrestleMania is our season finale, and then WrestleMania weekend will be our beginning of our second season. So we're excited for that too. And we want to thank you all that have over the last 11 months have commented and shared our videos and liked and subscribed and hit notification buttons, all that good stuff. But mostly I appreciate the comments, and some of your comments have really had a lot of thought behind it. We've had some dissertations actually written on some of our social media sites.
I love it.
Like 4 or 5 paragraphs. I'm like, wow,
but that's what we want.
Like an AMA format and everything with footnotes and bibliographies. I was like, well, I'm not quite that far, but still, like, I like it when people get on there and they actually give some thoughts and engage in our conversation. So we appreciate that. And I tell you, this has exceeded what we thought. Like, we're not gonna make any money or get rich off of this, folks. This is our hobby, and this is what we like to do. So we'll keep hobbying and doing what we like to do.
Yeah, like Matt said though, like, keep those comments coming, interact with us. If we, get to a certain point, we might start having y'all on as guests, our listeners, not just the other podcast folk, but but that's just wanted to say thank you. And that was the biggest thing. And the greatest news of all, I'll be back in the bar next week. Back in my chair, back in my studio bar, whatever we want to call it this week. Oh my God, I can't wait. Good internet.
I'm gonna be bacheloring it up from Friday to Wednesday. My wife's going to New York, and next week's spring break. So yeah.
But Matt, tell the folks where they can find us, man.
Yeah. And again, for our subscribers at TikTok and Instagram, thank you as well for yours. It means just as much. We got about 150 followers on TikTok and smaller on Instagram, but for a while we didn't touch a lot. But those are 3 places you can find us: in Apple Podcast and Spotify, and I think we covered them all. X, when we post X.
I know. I've been busy.
That's supposed to. Yeah, that Sean said he was going to take care
fault.
of X.
I said I was going to take care of X, and unfortunately, I've just been so daggum not home. Like, I haven't had time. But we'll get better. We get better, you get better. But by all means, thank you again, folks. Folks, it's been a great week.
Fun show tonight, Sean. Had a good time.
I had a blast, man. But until next week, folks, we love y'all. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one. And we're out.
In 3, 2, 1.